Welcome to the Sunday Superversive Livestream. I am your host, Benjamin Wheeler, and I'm here today with both my co-host, Anthony Marquetta. How are you doing today, Anthony? Very well. Thank you, Ben. Never had a bad day in my life. And, of course, the guest of the hour, Brian Niemeier. How are you doing today, Brian?
I am splendid, thank you.
Excellent. Today we are discussing the third Kickstarter of my goodness, I've got Netherreal right here, Netherreal, my beloved. Uh, the Soul Cycle book series, the Specter of Empire, book 3 of the Arkwright cycle. Uh, mm, I gotta admit, I've got Netherreal right in front of me, as I said. These are fantastic books. Netherreal is, of course, a personal favorite. I know you did a Kickstarter for the second book as well. Why don't you tell us about the third book right now, sir?
As well, Specter of Empire is, as you said, the third book in the Arkwright cycle, which is the prelude series to the Soul cycle, which includes an ethereal. So,
Mm.
best way to think of it is if the Soul cycle is the original Star Wars trilogy, the Arkwright cycle is KOTOR, right?
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah, similar timelines. So, we're going back and showing the events which eventually culminated in an ethereal, if that makes sense.
Excellent. Yes. I do remember. I need to listen. If I put all my books that I need to read into a tower and let it fall on me, I'd be a dead man. But I
Let's
do
avoid
remember.
that.
No, no. Um I do remember there being quite a lot in the background that piqued interest. Sort of the ruins of empires. Ozymandias is running around like crazy with their chickens with their heads cut off.
Indeed.
Ozymandias with their heads cut off, if you will.
Ozymandias, I don't know. Oh,
Whatever the Latin is. I've got two Catholics on stream. I think you guys can handle the Latin. I, a fine Protestant, need no Latin. But let's that was a fantastic introduction to it. The KOTOR of the Soul Cycle of much fame. So why don't you ease us into the Arkwright cycle and sort of tell us what we can expect going into the Specter of Empire.
the Arkwright cycle began with The Burned Book, the appropriately subtitled Arkwright cycle book 1. It followed a lordling of the race of Gen, which are the human adjacent but elder race in the Arkwright and the Soul Cycle, who by the time of the Burn Book even had already had their grand civilization rise, and they semi voluntarily went into decline. And most of them on the sphere of Mythgar have retired to an island redoubt where they live as separatists. They distance themselves from humanity, which they call the Clay Tribe, for reasons that would be apparent to anyone who's read an ethereal. So I'm sure you understand. But Zevran has grown tired of the gilded cage of his people's island homeland and desiring to see the mainland, traveled to the Clay Tribe dominated continent of Thesia, which is like a D&D Forgotten Realms version of Asia, basically. It's like my secondary world version of the Orient. And while there, the Emperor ropes him into a quest, which sends him and a ragtag band of misfits across hill and dale in search of the titular holy writ, the Burned Book. I'll pause there for any questions either of you guys have.
No, keep going. I assume the burn book is very important. After all, you named the first book after it. But we don't want to give people too many spoilers. Uh, Unless you think it's appropriate. I actually don't care about
Right?
spoilers personally. Just because
I'm with you.
let me have a second of rant. Because let's be real.
Sure.
If it doesn't matter how good the spoilers are, if the book's poorly written, the spoilers aren't going to be worth the time it takes to pick up the, like I mentioned chickens earlier, but like it doesn't take time to peck and scratch up the spoilers if the book isn't worth the pecking, So anyway,
Need the juice ain't worth the squeeze, right? So yes. So
thank you.
about the burn book itself, within the burn book, you're correct. It does relate to the series. So this is going to be a big one. I have enough outline material for a 10 or even 12 book series here. And I consider Specter of Empire the close of the initial arc, which I would call the burned book arc, because the events of the first three books, Burn Book, Lord of Fate, and Specter of Empire, revolve around that artifact. And its origins go back to the greatest conqueror in the history of this secondary world to date, which was the great Zolgater. And as passed down by the College of Augurs, who are the priests of Bifron, the god of prophecy, the general was riding at the head of his hosts one day somewhere in Thesia and came across an old woman who was cooking over a tripod at a campfire at the side of the road. She had the audacity to walk in front of the general's horse and stop him and offered to sell him 3 books of prophecy. And she named an exorbitant price. So he declined. So she threw the first volume into the fire and then doubled her price for the remaining 2. Accusing her of madness, he declined again. So she threw the second volume into the fire and then tripled her price for the third one, which he purchased. And it was handed down after he went on to conquer the known world before mysteriously disappearing. But the book was copied and handed down through this college of priests and diviners and became their sacred book. So it contains infallible prophecy. That is its main value. And its name comes from the number of potentates and rulers who, incensed by various oracles and diviners prophesying against them from its pages, that it has been ordered burned more times than any book in Arkwright cycle history. So it's very rare, but rumors arise of a potential copy in the high mountains to the west, and so the Emperor dispatches Zebrin, Falthrice, who is a member of the Order of Augurs, enlightened diplomat Lord Varys Grey, a ragtag orphan urchin named Tyrell, who is haunted by demons of his own, and a Spensatrix of the cult of Midris named Evelyn. And
That
they
haunted
journey.
by sorry, keep going.
No, and they journey across forest hills, deserts, and Himalayan scale mountains in pursuit of the Emperor's quest. I'll pause again.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then, of course, in your universe here, the haunted by demon things, it seems like it could be quite literal.
Quite.
All right, keep going.
Certainly. So that describes the setup for book 1. Well, along the way, Zebrin embarks on a more personal quest to learn about humanity and himself and the 2 races' relationships, but also what his place is. Right? He's very much like the decadent feat wastrel. He grew tired of living in the the Gen's refuge of Anon with like in luxury but no real purpose, and so he's the most restless guy on the planet, essentially. And it is revealed to him as he becomes more entangled with the humans around him and their conflicts, why his people decided to leave the Clay tribe alone, and begins to think that his people may have been right to separate themselves. Which comes to a culmination in book 3, but not before. Over the course of Burn Book and Lord of Fate, he becomes acquainted with the faiths of the Clay tribe, and he was nominally raised by his mother, who had a very superficial transactional relationship with Fertha, who is the main, again, goddess of a shamanistic religion, which originated many of the mysteries, which is where the eventual workings that guys like the Guild will use in the Soul Cycle originated from. And so it comes from this like ritual, magical tradition, but he's introduced to polytheism and ancestor worship and the kind of Taoist pseudo-Buddhist worship of the oneness that they added to his practice, and the monotheistic machine. And as mentioned before through Evelyn, the dualistic cult of Midras, who believe in two gods, one good, who's Midras, Lord of the Sun, and one evil, Orakthon, the great bull who shakes the pillars of the world. And Evelyn impresses him with her single-minded pursuit of justice, tempered with mercy, and she perceives in him a divine calling. And even though he denies, like, oh, this is a human faith, like it's like your God can't be calling me, right? By the end of the first book, there is a very strong and difficult to miss sign that Zebran might actually be Midras's chosen.
I gotcha.
Yeah, up to and including a scrap of the burned book, which Valthrice discovers, which mentions after 40 years pass, the life cord will be severed and one with the heart of a star will come, which astute readers will recognize from Soul Dancer. But events transpiring near the end of the book, which I won't spoil, which strongly indicate that Zebran may in fact have a divine mandate. Well, then the Lord of Fate book 2, his newfound faith in Midras himself is immediately tested when a second and seemingly better contender for the title of the Chosen arises out of left field. So Zebran goes from restless and wondering about his place in the world to thinking, okay, well, I received a blinking red neon sign from heaven showing me which way I want to go, and now it might turn out to be, oh, well, Wile E. Coyote may have messed with the sign and pointed off a cliff, and I'm going in entirely the wrong direction, and it was meant for someone else. And against this backdrop, though, as you did mention, there are more forces than demons or even gods vying for the book, but ultimately for control of the continent. Because to take a step back, the Emperor's main impetus for this journey isn't even to find the burned book. It is because one prophecy, widely rumored to be in it, concerns the meeting of the sun and the moon. And the Emperor is the Emperor of Shanmar, which is the easternmost nation on Midgar, which styles itself the Kingdom of the Sun. And it is a long-held folk belief that Stranos, the westernmost kingdom, is the kingdom of the moon. And the Emperor strongly suspects that if he can be the first to prove they're the same by sending a diplomatic delegation from Shanmar to Stranos and make contact, that he will trump Great Zolgadr and basically unify the world under his dynasty. So those are the stakes for him. Now, he may be misreading it or reading what he wants to into it, but there are others who are concerned with that prophecy. One of them being a character we have seen before in the Soul Cycle, and let's just say it is someone with silver eyes.
Ah.
Who also is known for oracular utterances of her own. But not only her, multiple others we've seen before, including a certain warlord werewolf who graces the cover of Specter of Empire. And essentially, Zebrin and his companions wind up in a 5-way conflict between different armies, which are patronized and sponsored each by a great otherworldly power, right? The rulers of the world, princes of high places, spirits of the air, right?
Right.
And so he's contending not just against human agencies and forces, which are great, like the equivalents of Mongol hordes and pirates, but against demons and gods, who all want the same thing, and only one of them can have it. And he may be sponsored by one of the gods himself, but to find out the answer, you're going to have to find out. And that brings us to Specter of Empire, wherein the quest for the burned book reaches its conclusion, and Zebrin is faced with the choice of revealing secrets that may destroy the world, but which are also possibly the only hope of saving it.
The classic maneuver, always an exciting prospect.
I'm glad you approve. But yeah, I think I'll stop there. Anything more would get into serious spoiler territory. But I hope that sounds intriguing to your audience.
Oh, I'm sure it is. We're big fans of your work here. It's one of those things where it's like, it was part of my entry into the indie scene through Nethreel and other things like that. You know how do I want to put it? You know how to put your thumb on the pulse of the indie scene. So you have things there that's a very nice, very fresh way to put on it, and it doesn't ever seem edgy. I guess I'll say, which these things can always devolve into if it's handled inappropriately.
I'll take that as high praise. But give the glory to God.
Oh, of course. Right. So, you're putting this book onto Backer Kit. Backer Kit is, I feel like it's relatively new, but it covers everything that we enjoy. You've got a Christmas delivery pledge, which is very nice for those giving gifts. Pledge wise, sorry, I should have looked over the website more. I just thought, oh, look, there's pledges and stuff.
No worries.
Let's see here. We have a digital art pack that you're going to get. These covers are, of course, amazing.
Full credit to Marcelo Orsi Blanco, my amazing cover.
Oh yeah, fantastic stuff. We do have some bookmarks. That dragon bookmark, or perhaps demon bookmark, is sexy. Of course, then we also have ebooks, hardcovers, for Burn Book, Lord of Fate, and Specter of Empire.
Do you mind if I get out in front of a question and head it off at this juncture?
Go for it.
Okay. So it's important to over-communicate, since I have had questions to this effect. People may be wondering, well, where is the Specter of Empire paperback? If you look for it and did not find it, your eyes do not deceive you. There is not one. This campaign is specifically to fund the debut version and the preferred version of the book, which is the special hardcover. But as you just mentioned, we are offering the Specter of Empire, bringing back the crowdfunder exclusive Lord of Fate hardcover, which was very popular with our previous backers, and for the first time, reintroducing the Burn book in hardcover. So you get all three Arkwright Cycle books to date in the exact same high quality hardcover built to last form factor. Very convenient.
I getcha. Yeah. What was I trying to say? Oh, yes. Is this the same sort of hardcover that David Stewart used for King Leper?
No, that would be closer to the Netherial 10th anniversary edition you mentioned. These
Ah,
are like these are the same trim size and
right.
matte casebound hardcover as the Lord of Fate special hardcover and the Kairosis novella.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Uh, yeah, okay. So that's, I'll admit, that sounds like high quality. Unfortunately, I could only afford the soft cover when Netherreal came out, but I'm still quite happy with it. Uh,
Outstanding.
let's see here. Yeah, and of course they'll look good on the shelf, uh, which
Look
is
amazing on the
always
shelf.
so important. Like, let's be real. Do you even have a hardcover if it doesn't look good on the shelf? It doesn't. It doesn't. Uh, they should.
That's the
They
whole
should.
point.
It's the whole point. It is actually. I've got a whole like I actually went out of my way. Or I still kind of do, but I haven't in a while. Go out of my way to use bookstores and stuff like that to pick out those 1970s hardcovers.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
those look good. And they're only like not more than $5 a piece too, so it's nice. Of course, down beyond the book tiers, we have of course a classic Be in a Book and for 200, Be Killed in a Book for 250. Um,
If you killed the book is always more popular, which makes me a little concerned for you guys, but whatever floats your boat.
it's it's one of those things where how should I put it?
Hmm.
Uh, the heart wants what it wants, and
Uh,
apparently the Taoists are right, and it wants self-annihilation. So
fair.
of course, beyond that, we have some launch perks. Do you mind going through those real quick? Are they just add-ons? Yeah, yes, there's some add-ons.
There's some add-ons. We did offer two special perks to early bird adopters. One was an early bird package that sadly has expired. It was good only for the first 48 hours of the campaign. And that was a bundle of the Specter of Empire hardcover, ebook, the digital art pack, and the deluxe bookmark for $55. So that has ended. However, we will have some additional special packages because the great thing about November is there are multiple holidays that this campaign will overlap with. So again, I don't want to spoil anything, but we have some fun surprises that you guys are going to love in store. The other, which is technically still active, is only for those who followed the campaign before launch. So, as an immediate free gift, followers who followed the campaign before launch received a deluxe PDF of Spectre of Empire Chapter 1. Followers who now follow the campaign after launch will receive a second bonus PDF of Chapters 2 and 3. So if you follow the campaign but you haven't backed yet, back now, and you will get your bonus chapters before the official book arrives.
Very nice. For a lot of people, how do I want to put it? They always want a little taste of your work. Uh, so that I approve of this. This is quite nice.
I'm glad to have your approval.
So we also have a bunch of add-ons beyond these, and I'll admit some of these are quite nice. Of course, you have the paperbacks, both the Netherreal paperback, Soul Dancer, and Secret Kings. Soul Dancer, of course, is the famous Dragon Award winner, and the Secret Kings is the Dragon Award finalist. But of course, I cannot sing the praises of Netherreal enough, as it was also a Campbell finalist, which is something that is, I don't know, like it's one of those things where I do like the rewards of this world, and it's supposedly a mortal glory, but it's one of those things where it's from a better time, perhaps, or at least a time with more blinders on. Hmm.
That makes sense.
We also, of course, have the special hardcovers you mentioned, and ebooks for the rest, which, of course, for those who might need to catch up, are excellent purchases.
Do you mind if maybe I can help you out? Do you mind terribly if I share my screen with our viewers?
I don't mind at all.
Well, I appreciate it. Maybe I can help walk you through some of the features. Okay, are we?
Just let me know when you're ready to drop screen sharing. Normally, my guests aren't so tech savvy.
Oh well, the old honey dripper. Thank you. Okay, so are you receiving my feed of the
Yes.
campaign page? Good. Yeah. So just to go over a bit of what Benjamin talked about. So there is the new special hardcover of Specter of Empire. Casebound, matte, no dust jacket. We save those for the deluxe anniversary editions. And speaking of Soul Dancer, that is what's next year. Next year, because 2016 is the 10th anniversary of the Dragon Award winner for Best Horror Novel. So here you see all three Arkwright books to date in the same high quality hardcover form factor. Those look great lined up on your shelf. I know because I have the proofs, one of the perks of being an author. We are offering the entire original Soul Cycle as add-ons. And let me talk a bit about the reward and add-on structure. So we have tailored our rewards, our pledge levels, they're called a backer kit, to be modular. Okay, so you can a la carte put together your own bundle. Only 4 of the existing pledge levels are bundles. If you don't count the digital art pack, which is included with everything, with every pledge level, but most of them are standalones. And the reason for that is to give backers the chance to assemble their own ideal bundles affordable. So almost everything is an add-on. So you can even get in at the entry level $5 bookmark level, right? So get the bookmark or the ebook pledge level, then go to add-ons at checkout and pick up the Burn Book, Lord of Fate, Ethereal, Soul Dancer, any of the previous paperbacks as an add-on. Or you can even get any of the 3 or all of the 3 Arkwright Cycle new special hardcovers and any of the Arkwright Soul Cycle ebooks. And I saw the chat asking about this, the Burn Book audiobook read by Wes Thompson.
Very nice. I know one of the things people talk the most about these days seems to be audiobooks.
Indeed, buzz around them, and we can definitely talk about that. I have done the one audiobook so far. It was a stretch goal for a previous crowdfunding campaign, which we did fund. So now it's available as an add-on on this one. And claiming these or any other perks and add-ons help get us closer to our goals. So we have the scoreboard here. We are 80% as of this recording, as of this stream, 80% of the way to our initial $3,000 goal. When we hit 3,000, the Specter of Empire hardcover will be unlocked and will be guaranteed for all backers. But then after that, we're not going to stop there. That's only the beginning, because then we begin unlocking more interior concept art by Marcelo Orsi Blanco at 5.7 and 10K, with our mystery levels beyond that. We're gonna wait till we get to 10 before unveiling the others. But what are the stretch goals, you might ask? It is these, in this order. So at 5K, we unlock the Warlord as an interior art page for Specter of Empire, the hardback only. At 7K, we unlock the Hellhound, and actually, I think those are slightly out of order. Yes, this is the correct order. Sorry, wrong image. So at 5K, the Warlord, that was correct. But at 7K is the Dragon Demon you mentioned earlier. That's going to be an interior page. And then finally, the Hellhound. So any questions so far?
Oh no, I'm along for the ride here. When it comes to all these special things that you can purchase and pick up, I'm always in awe of people who do it right. The how do I want to put it? People do not know the amount, because I do promote a lot of these Kickstarters, as all any watcher of the show knows. The amount of dross I ignore, or I get weird emails about and at 2 a.m. For thing that was clearly written by AI. It need not, like we joked about Ozymandias scratching at the dirt. These things are like finding the foundation of a hut in the mountains, sort of weathered away, only the barest stone marking their
You draw a
unfortunate
vivid
demise.
picture.
Thank you. So, this stuff in order, organized, from you, from John C. Wright, from Nick Cole, and others, are always just such a the professionalness of it is such a pleasure.
Well, I've
Let's
always
see.
said it would be embarrassing to excel at the art, but come up lacking in terms of the business, if that makes sense.
It's true. It's certainly something I'm trying to teach myself and others as well, because it comes with the fact, with old trad pub being what it is that you do have to now learn the skills that used to be old trad pub. Like I remember someone going over like the Dune publishing story. Like they had no, they had no background in publishing sci-fi. They were selling tire manuals, or whatever it was. There was a industry of men who just kind of published whatever they wanted, and they enjoyed it. And we are not so fortunate to have such good patrons, and so of course we must make our own.
Right. And that is why I agree with the spirit of what you said. We artists desperately need good patrons, because without the laundromats, without the Chinese laundries, without the hardware stores selling pickaxes and shovels, there are no miners. But the only area I would push back on would be to say that we do have the patrons, and we're finding them, as this campaign is a testament to. So I want to thank everyone who has supported us over the years, and encourage you to support us again now, so you get more of the great stories you want.
That's right. And you're right, of course. It's building a culture again, and it does start with these sort of things. Um, you don't get the culture you want without people willing to spend money on it. Uh, the Sistine Chapel wasn't built without the Pope's funding, the German post-Reformation artists didn't get it unless they didn't have their backers without the men of money and art and power, we willing to build it. But also, they also had shops where people would come up, and in between those big windfalls, they would sell pieces of art, both to scandalize and to I went to a I went to a lecture about art, witches and art for Halloween, as a kind of thing. And
Hmm.
I came away with the impression that the German artists of that time, who were very fine, Dürer and stuff like that, were basically capitulating on the fear that everyone felt for witches, because Germany was the hotbed of witch burning, as anyone who knows real history knows. And so they were basically like, "Oh, you're scared of witches? What do you think of this? Ah,
Yeah.
we'll buy 3."
That's what I'm hoping to hear. And by the way, uh, we can stop sharing my screen anytime. I
Stand by.
return control to you.
It's no problem at all.
Thank you.
I'll put on the visualizer for people to enjoy something, I guess.
Excellent.
Yes. So I agree with you. Hmm. Anyway, so well, we can talk more about this later. Let's go fall back on the Arkwright cycle. So yes, you are very close to your goal, which is of course very nice indeed. Uh, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I blanked out. So
No
you
worries.
said this is part of a cycle, so you have a lot more books after this as well.
Yes,
And,
because
mm,
I think I've mentioned this before in other places, but I'm glad to regale your audience with it. The Soul Cycle and the Arkwright cycle are a continuous grand work, decades in the making. I first started outlining what would become Soul Dancer back in 2001. Then realized I had to go back and fill in more background material based on early audiences' advice, and that was the genesis of Ethereal. And after I'd completed the material for the first 4 books, I realized I had to go back again and fill in even more background, and that became the Arkwright cycle. So I actually still have the college ruled spiral bound notebooks in which I handwrote in pencil the initial notes for both of these series. And based on the rate at which I am rendering them into books, we could be looking at up to 12 Arkwright cycle novels, which might sound excessive, but again, keep in mind there are thousands of years, there are millennia that separate the burn book from Ethereal. So we have a
right,
lot of time to fill.
absolutely. And also, it's how do I want to put it? Like compared to some of the stuff that people are just churning out from their demon machines, it's handwritten, properly managed. Uh, oh my goodness, handwritten, properly managed, not slop. It's worth it. These things used to be the bread and butter of quite a few stores. Dependable um, releases from the mid tier of authors who could be depended on for a good story. Um,
But I see
yeah,
we have a number of questions in the chat. Shall we get to those?
absolutely. I'm ignoring them. I dare not look. No, no. So Eldritch fan makes comments. I backed it. Can't wait to read, but can't
Thank
watch
you.
the live stream for fear of spoilers. I think you've danced around that quite well.
Thank you.
Uh, only have one question. How are things looking on the audiobook front for this and all the other Soul Cycles? You mentioned there it was supported by backers earlier. Is that right?
Yes, and what we learned from that campaign was that to do an audiobook right, it needs to be its own crowdfunder, because we just squeaked across the line by a hair to get that funded. So it makes more sense just to have a campaign in support solely of an audiobook. So if we do more audio going forward, that's how it'll be done. We'll hold separate crowdfunders for each one. I know Wes, who I see, knowledge fan, has kindly complimented on his voice, and as I love his smooth, smoky radio voice, which you can hear on Generation Video each week. Generation Video podcast on Apple and Spreaker and Spotify. But yeah, he's expressed interest in Lord of Fate and the subsequent books, and even Ethereal. But the elephant in the room is that creating audiobooks is a far more expensive proposition than print books. So each one will have to await the successful completion of its own crowdfunder.
Yes. That's no shock to me. Pinkerton's Ghost is primarily an audio medium, but even then, takes me hours to edit, and then of course I have to listen to it and give my notes to Ken and Anthony based on what's going on. Like even and of course recording my own stuff for a professional audiobook. Even for gentlemen like Son of Sonnet, who are very, within my poverty-driven price range, it's still, that is the expense for the month for Pinkerton's Ghosts, if you get me. Let's see. Eldritch Fan continues. Looks like I turned in just in time. I've listened to Burn Book, so good. I'd love to hear audiobooks of the rest of the Soul Cycles and Combat Frame books. Yeah, that would be fun. I've still got all my Combat Frame stuff and the little encyclopedia and everything like that. So, let's see. Book 4 of the Soul Cycle was both exciting and a bit of a downer. It was a chilling depiction of how quickly everything could fall apart. And of course, he has a question for Mr.
Life
Niemeier.
comes at you fast.
Life comes at you. How do you get yourself writing when you're just not feeling it?
Well, that's an easy one. Think of what you do for a day job. Those of you who have them. So it's Monday morning. You got 3 hours of sleep. You feel horrible. You got to drag yourself out of bed. You're blinking, like squinting against the natural sunlight coming in, and you've got to drive an hour to work, or you got to get up, log in, and remote in. I make myself write the same way you make yourself do that, because if I don't write, I don't eat, and I go live in a cardboard box. So fear is a powerful motivator, my friend.
Yes.
To quote Dune, feelings are for cattle and love play.
Oh, I forgot that. Yes. Yes. Very good. That is the best way to handle it. I have said on many occasions that Taika Waititi's, statement of, "Oh, if you just spend 8 hours looking at a blank sheet, you've written something." It's like, shut up. Shut up. He does seem like the type of person to cry if you slap him. And that is my feeling. I think they should have said, no. Something about grudges, personal spite, unchristian behavior. Very good. Eldritch Fan continues. He can guarantee you at least one donor. My local library has a quiet recording room to work. I'm considering making my own audiobooks of my work. Would that be less expensive and onerous? From my experience making my own audiobooks, essentially with Ken and Anthony, it's considerably less expensive on the silver, but it is more expensive on the time, because you have you might know more than I would give a rando, walking in and asking that question. But you have no idea what you sound like until you hear what you sound like. And
Mhm.
you're gonna discover that you do a lot of annoying things. Not that I'm talking about you specifically, but just the general you. Everyone I've ever had recorded do things that have to be edited out, and if you double up on a sentence or you're clicking your pen for some awful reason while you're recording, people will notice, people will comment, people won't come back.
Well said.
Mm.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like you can do it if you don't mind the time and self-control. But, like for myself, I spend a lot of time on self-control. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. But most people, I don't know. Hand fiddling is what I'm trying to say while I'm fiddling my hands while the camera's off. Uh
Mhm.
uh right, right. So I guess do you have plans for the audiobooks backers kits in the future, or I mean, yes, you do, but recent future, or
We will have to see. The the plan changes every time. Like the next plan changes every time you implement the current plan, and no plan survives contact with the enemy. So our crowdfunding schedule is directly affected by the outcomes of previous schedule items, if that makes sense. I know Wes is really championing the bit to do either an Ethereal or Lord of Fate, but coming up next year, we have the Soul Dancer 10th anniversary. That's going to be huge. We are pulling out all the stops in that one. Like, I wish I could tell you some of what we were planning. We had a strategy session last night, actually, and it said that to get what you have never had, you must do what you have never done. We are contemplating moves on that level, like to really get
right,
the Soul Cycle brand to the next level of public awareness, to raise public consciousness about it, and that is going to mean expanding our marketing efforts and budgets to frankly a risky degree. But
yes,
if that succeeds, the the sky will basically be the limit, and I don't see audiobooks being a problem.
of course,
It's just, long story short, we need to grow the audience and the patron base to a level that can reliably support the funding of an audiobook.
right, and that's kind of the big thing for not just you, but just for what we talk about patrons in general, because we're not wedded to Warbucks. What was the name of? Was it Warbucks that Little Orphan Annie's got adopted by? Uh,
Yes.
yes. We're not wedded to any Warbucks. And quite frankly, even some of the successes of gentlemen like Brandon Sanderson are a little bit, shall we say, cashed in on his fame rather than any particular genius strategy of um, of the kind Brian was talking about. How should I put it? Brandon Sanderson never had to worry about exit strategies, except in the case of absolute total failure, where he will return to his assuredly mansion and continue dictating his wildly successful stories.
Well,
Um,
while that is true, what you pose there is something of a chicken or the egg dilemma. Do you see what I'm talking about?
no,
Because
actually, but keep going, keep going.
because is Brandon Sanderson operating from a position of strength? Yes. Like probably the strongest position of any author short of the category of like a Lee Child or Stephen King or J.K. Rowling, right? No question. But
Right, right,
he had to get there. He wasn't born there. And it took a series of correct moves and deft marketing, largely on his part. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I know he credits Tor Books a lot. I don't personally. I think it had more to do with his Writing Excuses podcast. Like that grew his brand. But
yes.
that was ingenious. That was a masterstroke that he and Howard and Dan came up with. So he earned his place where he's at. But yes, he has a degree of invulnerability from the vicissitudes of the market that we have to deal with.
Yes, and that's more of what I'm talking about than any particular in, imposition of insult upon his skill. You don't get to his position without actually having a bit of a spark. There's a pretty good reason why Patrick Rothfuss is only known for the name of the wind, whereas other people with one shots that got really big, like Christopher Palinelli and Aragon, um, do seem to spring forth perennially with fresh ideas. You can't do that from zero. And you can't be manufactured to that either, at least not without great difficulty. That may not be worth it if you never take off.
Indeed. And the main difference, though, between a Sanderson, even a Palinelli, and Rothfuss is one of those groups of authors produce. they ship.
It's true. It's true.
They are able to make themselves right when they are not feeling it. And that was, I think, Rothfuss's undoing. Was he had a one-hit wonder. He did it. He achieved the every author's dream of first book, mega hit right out the gate, and he didn't stay hungry. He didn't have like more of a genuine but modest success like Sanderson's Elantris or even Scalzi's Old Man's War. Right? Let's be honest. Right? Credit where it's due. That forced both of them to remain working authors to maintain a middle class income, whereas Rothfuss just got rocketed straight to the top by hipsters and hasn't had to really work again.
Yeah, pretty much. As yeah, it's one of those things where I'm sure you've seen this, where it's like you come across a book, an author's debut novel, and of course everything is just perfect. Well, they spent 5 years on it. They spent a decade.
Yeah.
They were dreaming of it.
Or 20.
They've been dreaming of it since high school.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, even though I've quite a lot of developed stuff from high school, I just don't touch it. It's like, nope, I've moved on as an artist. I'm not here to bring out something perfect. I'm here to, both to satisfy my readers and to satisfy my own goals as an author. So it's but when you get that taste of fame, it's and you're not, shall we say, spiritually grounded, it will destroy you in one way or another.
Indeed.
I understand Christopher Palinelli to be a good Christian boy, like we all be, and that kind of thing. Once how do I want to put it? When you accept that you are a sinner, depraved and all this jazz, even if you're not totally depraved, I'm really close to, like, but it's how do I want to put it? It's like when you receive something good that you may not have truly earned, even though it looks like you did, it removes things like imposter syndrome and whatnot. You can properly praise God for the good things He's given you, rather than go, oh no, I got to do it again.
Yeah, excellent point. Without him, we can do nothing, of course, as you know, and blinding yourself to that fact. And Lord knows there are a lot of people who do that, who think they're taking on the world by their own strength, and they're sadly in for a rude awakening.
Yep. And for characters like Rothfuss and even Scalzi, if they repented and turned away from their sin, but in reality humbled themselves, I think they would be a much more tolerable persona online. Um,
Well, they'd be better
they would.
artists. They're already good. They would be even better. I think they'd be surprised. But
Oh yeah. Uh, yes. I guess. Do you have anything more to say on the backer kit?
well, I would say once again, reminding our viewers, we are currently, as of this broadcast, at 80%. Let's get over the line, get in there, get all 3 of the Arkwright Cycle books in that handsome special hardcover form factor. Get a chance to be in a book or even be killed in a book. I will make it memorable. Or pick up your own bundle. Create your own with a la carte options by picking your favorite reward tier and then adding on whichever of the many add-ons you would like. But help to guarantee this novel, Specter of Empire, for yourself and all of your fellow backers. Become a new patron. Support New Pub, because we have to know by now the mainstream is not going to make the art that Christian men want. They don't care about us.
Yep.
We're going to have to help each other. Right? Man sharpens man as iron sharpens iron. So I need you to be my whetstone. I need you to be my benefactor. Yes, even my redeemers. Because that's what we've got to do. We've got to redeem this book here, which is currently languishing in unpublished Sheol, and make it real. So get in there, hit the link in the show notes, pledge today, and all U.S. domestic backers who complete their backer surveys within 48 hours of receiving them and do not choose the pay over time option. And let's be real, that's going to be a majority of backers. I've seen the numbers. That's who backs me. You will receive your items in time for Christmas. You can put them in the stocking under the tree. So if these books don't look good to you, but you have a bibliophile in your life, perfect gift. So get to
That's
it.
right.
God bless you.
Yeah. Pay over time. That actually sounds quite nice. Excuse me. Have you seen the meme where there was an article about Klarna where they discovered which was a basically a way to get credit to order pizza on Domino's. And apparently people were not paying their Klarna debts off. And it was that picture of the guy from The Big Short, and it's like, there's a bubble. People aren't paying their Klarna futures, their burrito futures. But no, paying overtime is tempting for myself, who's enjoying another sudden bout of God testing me in His goodness, as we'll say.
Amen.
But certainly, I do like the hardbacks. I wasn't in good positions for some of the other Kickstarters, but now we'll see. We'll see. I'll certainly try to at least get a hardcover.
Well, I appreciate it, sir.
Oh yes, some of these are great. All of these are fantastic. And certainly, I like the look of the bookmark. So if you can't do anything else, get yourself a very sick-looking bookmark. Like I actually, this is gonna sound crazy. I've got different bookmarks for different like genres of books. I have like this cross sword thing that's gold and like fake gold and fake diamonds that I use for like nonfiction, and then I have a Hamlet book that bookmark that I use for other things, and a King Arthur bookmark I use for others. It's great. You can do stuff like that.
That's a good idea.
Um,
yeah, thank you. Thanks to Eldritch Fan for already pledging. We appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna work over time to get you your goods by Christmas. First, we have to get to 3K, but we're gonna get there. It's just a question of how soon.
Yep.
I would like it to be now, personally, because then Like I at least have the assurance that there's going to be a book. I mean, which there definitely is, because we're less than $700 from it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's just nice not that it's sort of Damocles
Oh,
hanging.
oh yeah. Well, it's like I'm sure if you looked at the pledges over time, you'd see a payday spike, so to say.
Well, we have this campaign actually has great velocity.
Hmm.
We started a bit later on launch day than normal. We went for a 3 p.m. launch instead of a morning launch. Not going to do that again today, but even still, we beat an Ethereal, which is our number one campaign so far, for number of first day pledges. So we're doing something right.
I gotcha. That's congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Because Netherreal did quite well.
That's our best one yet, thanks to everyone. So
Yeah,
praise God.
I gotcha. All right. Yeah. So, and I understand this is a new medium for you with BackerKit. Do you think that affected you at all?
That is yet to be determined. It seems more like right now the timing is affecting us more than the platform. I will say I love the platform. Backer could have been a joy to work with. Whenever I've had a question, their customer support has answered me in a maximum of 4 hours and a record time of 2 minutes from the time I email them. And
Wow.
they're full of helpful suggestions. When it came time to submit the campaign for approval with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it's always just a formality rubber stamp, and I don't hear back personally. It's just I click submit for approval, and then like within the hour, usually I'll get, okay, yeah, it's approved.
Yeah.
With BackerKit, they took the time to have a rep personally respond to me with notes like, hey, this looks good. Here's things you could improve. Here are our suggestions. We found work based on previous successful campaigns. And they really do hold your hand and give you expert pro tips for fine tuning your campaign. So they're very hands on. Yes, their market share is a little smaller, but I'm going to let you in on a secret here. So I'm going to let you in on the BackerKit story, because we're all about storytelling. So BackerKit began, I believe they've been around for almost 10 years now, but they saw a need, which was pledge management for other crowdfunder platforms. So they didn't start out crowdfunding. They started out helping crowdfunder campaign owners to manage and fulfill their pledges post-campaign. So they developed this proprietary software and platform to help do that. Well, very quickly, they saw an opening to not only help fulfill but extend campaigns, because they started offering, or they started allowing campaign owners to offer certain add-ons during the backer survey after the campaign. So like you get your backer survey with a message, well, if there was anything you missed, if there was an item you wanted and are now kicking yourself that you forgot to get, here's your second chance. This limited selection of add-ons is still available. You can buy them now, right? And you can see how naturally that parlayed into, because that got so big that like doing a backer kit after a Kickstarter became the done thing, right? Like on Sanderson's campaigns, if you read his ad copy, he'll say, okay, the campaign closes on like the 30th, but then we'll see you for the backer kit next week, right? And so the backer kit kind of became the after party for a successful crowdfunder. So it was just a hop, skip, and a jump from there to backer kit going, well, why don't we stop leaving money on the table and let people crowdfund from start to finish on our platform? So they have, and they are really good at it. Because the one thing I've had a bit of trouble with Kickstarter was their pledge manager, which was an attempt to kind of retrofit a BackerKit style pledge manager onto Kickstarter's platform. And there were some wrinkles, let's just say. And that is why I moved to BackerKit. And they're just unbelievable. The flexibility is insane. So one great example is on Kickstarter, you cannot pair a physical add-on with a digital only reward tier. Like if you get the ebook you can't add the paperback to it as an add-on. You would have to get the paperback first and then add the ebook, which makes no sense. BackCricket lets you make
Right.
anything a reward, lets you make anything an add-on.
That is pretty nice. We didn't really run into that with our Kickstarter, but with the add-ons and stuff like that, just because everything was digital and whatnot. But the whole, yeah, no, there were parts of Kickstarter that was just okay, automatic system. Then I sat there waiting for a bit. Oh, you actually have to do this too. And the pledge manager isn't about pledges, it's actually about launching. But okay, sort of thing, and it delayed
I
us,
know what you're talking about.
a little bit, and it's like, that was my own experience more than Kickstarter's doing. But there were some comments about the pledge manager. There were some comments.
Well,
So
here's
yeah,
go ahead.
Well, and it's like I don't like hidden fees, and I don't like the idea of backing a thing with and then all of a sudden getting a different fee, and it's like, uh it was a whole thing, and it's gone now, but
I hear that, but yeah, there were some missteps made on the previous platform, but that might be why, according to the most recent financials I've seen, Kickstarter used to control 40% of the crowdfunding market. Like they had a commanding plurality. Over just the last 4 years, that has fallen to 32%, and BackerKits has risen by 8. So BackerKit is starting to, ever since they started just offering start to finish crowdfunding, they have steadily eaten into Kickstarter's market share by like 2% per year. And based on what I'm seeing, I would not be surprised if they not only overtake Kickstarter within the next 10 years, but buy it. And their situations end up almost completely reversed.
right. One of the weirder things that Kickstarter did is that occasionally their CEO or operator or whatever he is will like comment on a Facebook, not Facebook. Oh my gosh, like anyone's posting on Facebook, anyone real, but rather, uh, what was I trying to say? He'll post on Twitter, X, and like make a comment, but then like barely respond to anything after throwing himself into the comments. And it's like, aren't you going to continue talking about this? No, it's like silence. And then you'll see another random comment, and of course he has John De La Rose blocked. And it's like, buddy, we're giving you a legitimate complaint here, and it's just kind of like it's too personal. It's too personal just to be a bot, but at the same time, it's schizophrenically applying good customer service, which somehow feels weirder than no customer service at all.
Yeah, that's kind of what I ran into. I did run into some high strangeness with Kickstarter's customer service and recommend them to improve it. Not going to go into details, but yeah, let us just say that the experience I had last time on Kickstarter convinced me to switch platforms to a much smaller and less proven one, even after running my biggest campaign ever on Kickstarter. Like the outcome of my biggest campaign ever was so unsatisfactory that I jumped ship. So I would strongly consider. I would strongly encourage Kickstarter's CEO to consider that. Well, it sounds like I cannot reach him directly if what you say is representative of his online activity. Shame that.
Oh yeah, it's it's one of those things. Living in our internet age, quite frankly, I don't think people have figured it all out yet. Um, like one of my favorite sports is to mess with dating bots and turn them into conversationalists. Of course, I'll never spend money or anything like that, but it's like,
Right.
yeah, how are you today? How was
Good.
your day? I like to think I'm eating a little CPU time. Just doing my part. Uh, Yeah, no, it's not that Kickstarter was bad for us when we did it, and it sounds like it wasn't. It was again the most successful Kickstarter you've had. But yeah, I think we're because the internet is a running corpse chained next to Prometheus. Uh, the how do I want to put it? Um, new techniques have to be developed, and of course, we should back the strong livers of characters like BackerKit rather than
Mm.
whatever Kickstarter is doing. Again, it worked, but uh, strange.
Not as well. Like, it worked about half as well as our hopes and all of our projections and internal numbers indicated it should
Yeah.
have. Let's just say that. I'm not assigning
No,
blame.
no.
Just pointing out that various experiences led to certain decisions being
Yeah.
made.
It's yeah, you know. Either way, I think BackerKit will grow on you quite a bit. Um, it never seems to be the first one that really shoots up unless you're cashing in some fame like chips at a casino. Um, I saw something about 4 secret books from Brandon Sanderson. Is that a
Yes.
currently going on Kickstarter of his or something or
No, that was a couple years ago. That was his record-breaking
ah
Kickstarter, which earned over $40 million and scared the pants off the publishing industry because they realized, oh, our name authors don't need us anymore. And then he went on BackerKit more recently and made 20 million.
oh wow, very nice.
Yeah, with a different. Yeah. So I mean, it works, and uh, a welcome piece of feedback I've had from other backers on the Backer Kit is they love how intuitive and easy the add-on selection process
Right.
is. One gentleman told me that when I wanted to add an add-on on Kickstarter, it seriously took me through 10 different tabs I'd open, like 10 different windows.
Yeah,
And with Backer Kit, it's just like 2, and you just pick what you want, and that's it.
yeah.
So it's very streamlined.
That is that is nice. I know for my part, on my side, again, I not really, very experienced with uh, the producer side of Kickstarter, but it was like I had 2 different screens open. I was like, okay, I did this.
Hmm.
This is the taxes. This is this. This is that. Um, it's other times it's like click. Don't you want to support this? No. Click. Don't you want to do this? No. Click. Anything that streamlines the amount of clicks I can put forward is just good internet design. Um, it's like
Right.
people talking about, Gaben, the founder of Steam, needs to never die because it'll all be over when he's dead. What are they saying? Are they really wishing him long life, or are they basically saying the second the CEO is dead, the private investors and the people who have terrible design philosophies will just ruin it for it, like
Mhm.
H1Bs at Microsoft. Um, it's I like so here's the thing, right? Dead internet theory. It's been one of your perennial topics. Like,
Mhm.
is it like hell internet theory now? Are we in Inferno yet? Or are we still circling, doing sort of a reverse purgatorio? The glory days of the 90s internet, then, you know, sort of like reversing into Satan and out his mouth into the frozen hellscape. I don't
Mm.
know.
I've heard it described more as falling down a stairwell in a
Yes.
skyscraper. Like, you bounce down a few flights and then you hit a landing. And you think, oh, okay, thank goodness that's finally over. That's it. But eventually you roll over and you start to plummet again down the flight. And that seems to be how civilizational collapse goes, is in
Yes.
stages. What I will say is that while I don't claim to foresee where this wild ride ends, I will say that as a member of Gen Y, I do take some grim vindication in having seen at the internet's rise that it was stupid, and telling everyone who's super optimistic and bullish on it that it was all going to end in tears. And yeah, I'm demonstrably right.
It's true. It's Sack of Rome, except it's Indian help desk support tearing down the statues. It is. The well, it's true. Yeah, sure. Like Glory Days is such and such a time. I know I've been convicted of sloth quite a bit. It's like, oh, but these glory days, these laurels, the '90s were so great, and it's like, they weren't great for you, bud. And in reality, you just miss having works of quality, which of course you can find. Bringing us back home on a face first slide on websites like BackerKit, and of course with projects like the Specter of Empire Book 3 of the Arkwright cycle. There we go. I brought us back in.
I see what you did.
Well
done.
I'd say we're ready for a internet style Constantine. It feels about that.
Could it be Elon Musk after all?
No. No.
Okay.
So he's all right in his own way. But how do I want to put it? Constantine purged the Praetorians, and we're not at that stage yet. We're still appeasing them, so to say. When in actuality, all their Minecraft accounts need to be deleted immediately and forthwith, and preferably with screaming and tears. In Minecraft, that is, their Minecraft.
Yeah, there you go.
It's but it's it's weird because I've been I've been listening to Voxay for a while. I was a part of the puppies and everything like that. And yet, it seems that these things yet dip into the infinite money of the empire. Even with US aid canceled, there are still powerful individuals funding Old Trad pub, not just letting the liver of Prometheus be eaten out and replaced by his own powers, but feeding it livers to preserve Prometheus. Only the highest metaphors for my listeners, with the most art to it, to produce it. And I gotta ask you, is there an end to Trad Pub? At least as we know it. Will it metamorphosize at the very least?
Well, Old Pub's fate, I think, is written on the wall now, and look no farther than like the Washington Post, or really, even though it's newer, X itself, because one mistake that a lot of conservatives made was assuming we were still in a free market, and that if they didn't keep up a certain volume of sales, that the old New York publishers would fold for lack of profits. But no, it turns out that they're all just cat's paws of giant international megacorps who keep them around as propaganda arms. And you got to remember, while they haven't produced even a Sanderson sized name author in like 15 years now, don't underestimate the value of their back catalogs, right? Their backlists, stuff like Dune and like Starship Troopers and excuse me, like Moon is Harsh Mistress, right? And that's still valuable. So no, someone is going to control those, and just what we'll see is billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos just buying them as vanity projects, and everyone will know they're not serious. They're just hollowed out skin suits. So they'll keep merging. They'll like shamble around, but I call them dead pub because they already are over. Like, as taste making cultural forces, they're
Yes.
done. They don't have a kind of pull anymore.
It's true. And that's a good thing, of course. It's yeah. It's like, can you imagine another cultural movement with a book of the quality of Harry Potter? No, I don't want to imagine it. I don't want to live in it. I don't want to deal with it. Harry Potter was great in some sense. You know, it was good for the kids, but people obsessed, and people don't really get that it's craftsman like. You know, which is no insult, of course, but it's craftsman like rather than transcendental, I guess I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think people get the difference, but it's what makes what gives the ability of art to point upwards to God, to redeem life in certain ways. If there's no high craft, if there's no spirit within it, you know, it is more Morlock work than it is not. Hmm. Oh well. I,
What were you
I,
gonna say?
I do giggle a bit when I think of these tech guys, you know, because it's very often they do have a bit of a right spirit about it. They want to support these things, but um, they're well read in the sense of like pop psychology, pop culture, even a few of the great, you know, sci-fis and even maybe some fantasies. Um, but it's never it's different. They're not quite the fan people think they are when they support these kind of projects.
Right.
Oh well. All right. We've been
I
going
didn't.
for about
Yes. Do you have anything more for me?
No, you've covered all the big things that I want to cover. I'll see what I can do for
Excellent.
myself with Specter of the Empire, um,
Thank you.
as well as you know, encourage other people as well to purchase their own backers copies and all that good stuff. I know there's a lot of overlap between you and my people, but I'm hoping that, especially with the 70 or so people watching our stream on Twitter and the few people on YouTube and such like that, that there's a few more backers. It's certainly, how do I want to put it? It's good for the soul to back friends rather than soulless conglomerations of people who you cannot reach out and touch. Um, there we go. Do you have any? Do
Indeed.
you have a last word for us?
Yes. May God bless you. May He grant you the fortitude and the courage and the wisdom to discern His will and do it in this fallen world. And simply thank you and support Superversive.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. We'll be back next week. We might bring in another guest, or we might talk a little King Arthur. I don't know.